Welcome to this step-by-step ASP.NET Core tutorial for beginners. Whether you are brand new to web development or just getting started with the .NET Core, you are in the right place. In this video, we will guide you from the basics to building your first ASP.NET Core application with complete clarity. Here is what we will cover in this video. We will start by understanding what ASP.NET Core is and why it is so powerful for modern development. Then we will set up your development environment and walk through building your first project step by step. Before we begin, make sure you have the tools ready. You will need Visual Studio or VS Code, the latest .NET SDK installed, and a browser to test your app. Don't worry, I will guide you through each step, even if you are not familiar with all these tools. So, why should you learn ASP.NET Core? It is fast, secure, cross-platform and backed by Microsoft. That means you are learning a future-proof framework used by companies all over the world for building scalable and secure web applications. Now that you are set up and ready, let us dive into the practical part. We will create a new project, understand the folder structure, and then build and run your very first ASP.NET Core web application. Welcome to this video on form handling using the post method in ASP.NET Core. In our first slide, we see how to create a simple form in a razor view. Here, we use the ASP action attribute to specify that the form will submit to the save action in our controller. The method is set to post, which is essential for sending data securely. The form includes an input field for name and a submit button to trigger the form submission. This structure allows users to enter their name, and upon clicking submit, the data will be sent to the server securely via a post request. Next, let us look at the controller side. In this slide, we create an action method called save, decorated with the HTTP post attribute to indicate that it handles post request. The method accepts a parameter named name, which corresponds to the input field in our form. Inside this action, you can process the name as needed, whether it is saving it to a database or performing some other logic. After processing, we return a view, which could be a confirmation page or the same page with the updated data. To enhance user experience, you might want to redirect to another action after processing instead of returning a view directly. This can prevent a resubmission of the form if the user refreshes the page. In addition to accepting simple parameters, ASP.NET Core supports model binding, allowing you to pass an entire model to your action method. This can greatly simplify data management, especially when dealing with the multiple fields. For example, you could create a user model class with properties like name and then modify your action to accept this model as a parameter. This approach makes your code cleaner and more organized, especially as your forms grow in complexity. By using model binding, you can directly bind form data to the user model properties. This means you can manage multiple fields without manually extracting each one, which reduces boilerplate code. Finally, let us discuss safe and clean input handling. It is crucial to validate user input to prevent security vulnerabilities like XSS and SQL injection attacks. You can use data annotations in your models to enforce validation rules, ensuring that the data meets your application's requirements before processing. For example, you could use required string length or email address attributes to validate user input effectively. Always sanitize and validate input to maintain the integrity and security of your application. Additionally, ASP.NET Core provides built-in protection against XSS attacks through automatic encoding of output, which helps further secure your web applications. For more complex forms, consider using a view model to organize your data. This allows you to combine multiple properties from different models into a single object that can be easily managed. For example, a registration view model could include properties for name, email, and password. This approach not only keeps your code organized but also simplifies data binding and validation when handling multiple inputs. Using view models also enhances readability and maintainability, making it easier for other developers to understand the data structure used in your forms. To provide feedback to users, it is essential to display validation errors. Use the ASP validation for attribute to bind error messages to specific fields in your form. This enhances user experience by clearly indicating what needs to be corrected. When you implement validation in your model and return the view with the errors, any validation messages will be shown next to the corresponding input fields. This helps users quickly identify and fix issues before resubmitting the form. To further enhance user experience, Implement client-side validation using jQuery validation. This provides instant feedback, allowing users to correct errors before submitting the form. By adding the required attribute to your input fields and including the necessary scripts in your layout file, you can enable client-side validation easily. This reduces server load by preventing unnecessary requests for invalid data. After processing the form submission, it is good practice to provide feedback to the user. You can redirect them to a confirmation page or display a success message on the same page. Using temp data, you can store short-lived messages that will be available on the next request. For example, after saving user details, you can set a success message and redirect to another action to display it. This approach enhances user experience by confirming that their action was successful. Testing is crucial for ensuring the reliability of your form handling logic. You can write unit tests for your controller actions to verify that they behave as expected. For example, you can test that the save action returns a view result when given valid input. Additionally, consider using the integration test for end-to-end scenarios to ensure that your entire form submission processes work seamlessly. Automated tests can help catch issues early and maintain code quality as your application evolves. In conclusion, handling forms with the post method in ASP.NET Core is straightforward and powerful. We covered creating forms in Razor views, processing post request in controllers, the benefits of model binding, and prioritizing safe input handling. Remember to utilize model binding for cleaner code, implement client-side validation, and always provide feedback to users after form submission. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with your fellow developers. Thank you for watching.